Welcome to the AI Showcase for September 2025. This is your host, Juan Soto. I am happy to be here with you where we discuss the latest headlines. What is the AI Showcase? Well, this is something that we do every month to help small businesses so they can incorporate AI and get information on how they leverage AI. You can learn more about what we do at itimpact.com/AI. We also created a LinkedIn group. We can join us the discussions, and you almost have daily headlines there. So love to see you on the LinkedIn group. The QR code is there on the screen. So if you're watching this recording, pause it, use your cell phone, snap the QR code, and join us online. You can also link with me via email at jsoto@itmpact.com, on my website, itmpact.com, and there's a URL so you can link in with my profile on LinkedIn. My expertise is in data and AI. I've been consulting for 30 years and MVP for 14. So please reach out. We'd love to touch base. Nano Banana. Wow. This is an AI tool that's really gone viral. It has been a real game changer. It used to be that you needed to be an Adobe Photoshop expert to do the stuff that you can do now in seconds, literally seconds, where you can create images, upload an image, and then modify it just by using text. We have a couple of examples here for you to see. Now, in order to test this out, you would go to gemini.google.com. But here are the original photos. We have a dog on the right and a graphic created by hand on the left. And we put in the first prompt, transform this chart into a polished infographic. And the second prompt is place this dog on a tropical beach. For the dog, note the shadow, right? He's casting a shadow on the floor. Let's go on to the next slide. Here it is. As you can see, the shadow for the dog is in relation to the sun in the background. So the shadow moved because the sun now is angling. So it was smart enough not to use the same shadow from the original photo. Let's go back to the prior photos so they can compare the shadows. So you got the shadow, right, which is almost perpendicular to the dog. Let's go to the next slide, please. And here the shadow has shifted, right, because the sun position has shifted. So I thought that was pretty neat. Plus the graphic also. So you can use it for business, not just for marketing, right? I mean, you can use it for marketing, which is business, but for personal use as well as for business. It's a great tool. I've used it to play pranks on some of my family members where I upload photos for them in Paris and walking the streets of Paris with Mark Zuckerberg. Or I mean, it's just that easy, right? You can upload a photo yourself, upload a photo of me in Paris, and make it so I'm walking in the streets of Paris with Mark Zuckerberg, right? It looks amazing. Just pretty much the end of being able to watch an image and not trust it is over for the internet, because you just can't trust what you see nowadays, right? Because it's so easy to create these images. All right, we're going to go into the next showcase. We have two showcases here for today. The first one is Genie 3. I mean, this has the potential to be a game changer for us in terms of creating real world environments. Now, if you're a gamer, I mean, who hasn't been a gamer at some point in their life, right? You probably experienced a first world shooter where you're walking on a terrain inside the game. And those terrains and worlds are created via programming. And it's not easy. It can take months or years to create those environments so that you can interact with that world. Not anymore. With Genie 3, and by the way, this is not available yet. This is still in testing. But with Genie 3, it can create a world, virtual world, simultaneously as you're interacting with it. So there's no programming involved. You describe the world, and it creates it scene by scene as you're interacting with it. But not only that, but you can open the door, close the window. It'll remember that. So you can close a window, shift your view, come back to it, and the window's still closed, right? So it's just an amazing thing. This has some huge implications, but first let's show you a video of how this looks, and then I'll come back with some comments.
What you're seeing are not games or videos. They're worlds. Each one of these is an interactive environment generated by Genie 3, a new frontier for world models. With Genie 3, you can use natural language to generate a variety of worlds and explore them interactively, all with a single text prompt. Let's see what it's like to spend some time in a world. Genie 3 has real-time interactivity, meaning that the environment reacts to your movements and actions. You're not walking through a pre-built simulation. Everything you see here is being generated live as you explore it. And Genie 3 has world memory. That's why environments like this one stay consistent. World memory even carries over into your actions. For example, when I'm painting on this wall, my actions persist. I can look away and generate other parts of the world. But when I look back, the actions I took are still there. And Genie 3 enables promptable events, so you can add new events into your world on the fly. Something like another person, or transportation, or even something totally unexpected. You can use Genie to explore real-world physics and movement, and all kinds of unique environments. You can generate worlds with distinct geographies, historical settings, fictional environments, and even other characters. We're excited to see how Genie 3 can be used for next-generation gaming and entertainment. And that's just the beginning. Worlds can help with embodied research, training robotic agents before working in the real world, or simulating dangerous scenarios for disaster preparedness and emergency training. World models can open new pathways for learning, agriculture, manufacturing, and more. We're excited to see how Genie 3's world simulation can benefit research around the world.
All right, that was quite an impressive video, and I'm not sure if you saw it because it flashed really quick on the screen. But there was a robot picking a strawberry, and you saw the person painting the wall, right, with the roller, and they shifted their view, came back, and the wall still was painted the way they were. So, and that's all being created in real time. There is no programming involved from your end. You just describe your world, and then be able to do that. And as you notice in the video, you said, okay, have a dragon landing on the water, and then a dragon came along and landed on the water. I mean, it really is amazing technology. Now, for business applications, one of the best ones I can think of is to train a robot how to navigate the world. Now, currently, the way this is done is you program the robot to work with stairs or work with ramps or how to navigate a hole, where as they're walking, they have encountered a hole. But what if instead you can train your robot in the virtual world first to walk and interact, fine-tune the code, and then once you're happy, you can then take that code, put it in the actual robot that you created, and then have that robot interact with its environment, right? So it saves you a ton of time because number one, you don't have to hire programmers to create the virtual world for the robot. So whether that be Mars, the moon, or a field in a farm, right, in the US or in the world, you create the environment virtually. You test the software that's driving the robot in that environment, and then you can put that software, once you're happy, inside the actual robot and have the robot execute and then fine-tune it there as well. So it saves a ton of time and a ton of cost, because now you're not creating worlds virtually with programming team that can take months or years. And you can give it challenges, right? So let's go ahead and put a locked door for the robot to navigate, right? So the robot, you can see how the robot interacts virtually, right? So you're testing your brain of the robot virtually and giving it cases. Now, there was a scene of a robot picking a strawberry, and that's a particularly interesting case for me because I've seen these videos online of these workers on strawberry farms where they're picking strawberries, putting it into the clamshell, closing the clamshell, running to the end of the field to record their case. And the reason they're running is because they get paid by the case, not by the hour. And so time is precious for them. So they go running, they hand in their case of strawberries, they get scanned, so it records their production, and they run back out the field and repeat the process. Well, it's backbreaking work, right? Because they're bending over to pick these strawberries. Strawberries don't grow tall. And so what if you could train a robot instead? And, given the shortages in labor these days, I think this would be a real game changer. What if you could train a strawberry picking robot virtually using Genie 3 on how to not crush the strawberries when they pick them, how to identify strawberries that are ripe for picking, right? Because, when you're harvesting strawberries, you've got a wide range of strawberry from green to ripe to overripe. And so these workers are trained already to pick the right strawberries. You have to do the same thing with the robot. And so train the robot in this virtual world, this virtual farm to pick strawberries. And then you can try different configurations of the claw, right? And the video, there was 3 claws picking the strawberry. But maybe it shouldn't be a claw. Maybe it should be a cup, right? That's got a cutter, so it cuts the strawberry stem, and then you can put it in the clamshell, right? So you can try different configurations of the robot in this virtual farm. And then once you're happy with the results, then you put it into the field to further fine tune. Having the robot be able to pick strawberries is going to be a real game changer, because now you don't have any labor costs associated with the robot. They don't have to take breaks. You're not paying them by the case. They can farm 24/7. So maybe, right now workers only farm during the day. Well, what if you can have the robot has lights, and it's farming 24/7, because you have a cold front coming through, and you don't want and your strawberries are going to go bad. And so you only have a certain amount of time to pick your strawberries, right? I mean, it opens up the possibilities to be endless when it comes to agriculture. You see these robots from Tesla to work in factories, but I think the real advantage would be robots that can work in agriculture, and you'll see them in agriculture soon, hopefully, and that will bring down the price of the fruit, and hopefully bring down the price of the fruit, and then have it more available around the U.S. and the world. So quite interesting. Google DeepMind 3. We'll let you know in the AI showcase on LinkedIn once we go live, so you can test it. This is a Google product as well. All right, let's go on to the next showcase. This is another Google product. Being a Microsoft certified professional, you would think I'd be bringing up Microsoft. We'll be doing that and other showcases coming up soon. But this is another game changer for me, at least, in terms of being able to create a report and deep analysis. Now, currently, when you have to research something and you use AI, hey, what's the best approach to picking strawberries, right? And it'll go out in a few seconds, it'll come back with a synopsis that it found on the web. And so the best way to pick strawberries this way, right? But what if you want a more in-depth analysis of what you're trying to research? Well, Gemini has that, where you can give it a task. It takes several minutes, between 5 and 10 minutes, to do a deep research of the web and compile a wonderful report for you to review and edit. And I have an example of that. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. So this is Google Gemini. I have already created this, but I'm going to show you how to start from scratch. So I'm going to come in here and I create a new chat. And then I come in here and I do tools and I do deep research. So make sure you pick deep research, right? And then you put in your prompt, whatever prompt that may be. Now, this can take several minutes, so I'm not going to do anything live with the prompt, but I'm going to show you one I did earlier for a client of mine. I have a client that uses iPads on the production floor. And I wanted to explore the possibility to use an RFID reader to identify employees. Because what they're doing now is they're walking up to the iPad, they're typing in their employee code, they log in, do the transaction on the production floor, right? This iPad is being shared by multiple workstations. So they log in, do their transaction, I finish this batch, or I start this time now, and then I stop at this time. Then they log off, and then the next employee comes, uses the same terminal. Well, how can we avoid them having to type their employee number? And so we were thinking about using an RFID reader that's attached via Bluetooth to the iPad, and then they can just tag with the iPad, the reader, and be able to log in that way. And I wanted to research that, right? So here's my prompt. So this is the prompt that I originally put in. How can I use an RFID tag in conjunction with an iPad? What equipment is compatible? How could I connect the RFID reader, right? I gave it this prompt with the questions, and it came back with, I'll put together a research plan. So you notice that it does that, and at some point it will tell you which websites it's using, so you can actually modify the list of websites if you wanted to. But I love the way you put together this plan, and then it analyzes the results and then creates my report. And here's the report on the right-hand side here. And I shared this report with my client because I was impressed with the results. I told them was AI created because, obviously they're like, okay, you're going to charge me for this report? How many hours it take? No charge. It's just that I wanted to share with you so you can gain the insights I gained with this, right? And leveraging the iPad as a professional RFID hub, right? Love the title. Foundational knowledge, right? So it starts with the basics, how you can use the iPad with RFID, right? The iPad's role, a host, not a native reader, because obviously you can't read tags. It doesn't come with RFID reader on the iPad. Then it goes on to talk about the frequencies that you can use. And then I love this little table that came up with here where you can say use case for warehouse inventory. This is the frequency you want to use. For IT asset tracking, the same one. But then secure access, right, to secure building. You know how we have people enter building security with their badge. This is what the frequency is used. So I love that little table. And so we decided to go with Bluetooth based on this section here, Bluetooth integration. We created, and then I'm gonna go straight to the equipment, right? The list. I mean, this goes on forever. I mean, this is just amazing. It talks about the different vendors and the different models that they have, right? And also the kinds of readers. And so here I was able to use this to buy the particular model in question for testing. And it goes on to talk about the plug and play. And so it was a real eye-opener for me and for my client. And then we ended up with a different solution because unfortunately, this factory has a much more stricter security policy. And because basically when you tag it, here's the issue, right? When you tag your badge to an RFID reader, it's a number that you pass along to the iPad. That number does not change, right? And so if you were to somehow find out what that number is, even though we mask it, so only see stars on the iPad screen. So if somebody were to find out what that number is, they can log in as an employee. And because they have policies where it says you have to change your password every 90 days, and we can't change those tags, we would have to take out the tag, put a new tag on to employee, re-register it, right? It's not easy. We decided to go a different route. But I love the fact that I was able to do the research, buy a test equipment with the tags, and be able to then create a video of that, which I'll be uploading to the AI Showcase LinkedIn group. By the way, I have a video testing that. And being able to share the results with my clients. So I urge you to use this deep research when you need a report like this, be able to help you out in terms of making decisions for your business and analyzing what ifs and then gaining insight. In the old days, you would hire a consulting practice like KPMG, and they would charge you thousands of dollars for this. right? And they're doing exactly the same thing that I was doing, that Gemini is doing, researching the web and sources and so forth. Not anymore. Now you can have this consulting, a virtual consultant, help you analyzing and being able to do that. All right, so I hope you enjoyed our 2 AI showcases. If you are interested in using our expertise, there's a brief chart here on how IT Impact can help you out. Again, you can go to itimpact.com/AI and reach out to us there for your particular case. And please join our LinkedIn group where you'll be able to join the discussions. And you have to apply because we don't want recruiters in there or people spamming us. It's a private LinkedIn group, but everybody gets in. All right, so just apply and you'll most likely get in unless you're somebody who's not going to be relevant to the conversation. But most everybody gets in. So that's it for our September showcase. We're eventually going to be probably doing this twice a month, and then we want to get it to being once a week. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching us on YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube or LinkedIn, please consider joining the LinkedIn group, reaching out to us with some topics you'd like us to explore for the AI showcase. In the meantime, so long, everyone. This has been your host, Juan Soto. Looking forward to seeing how you use AI in your business.